And now introducing the starting lineup for your Wareham Gatemen. Leading off the right fielder, number 7, Jeremy Hyannis from UCLA. Batting second, the second baseman, number 3, Sahid Valenzuela from Cal State Fullerton. Batting third, the third baseman, number 12, Austin Shenton from Florida International. Batting fourth, the left fielder, number 6, Brian Packer from East Carolina. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 18, Lyle Lockhart from Houston. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 19, Hayden Parks from Hyannis State. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 5, Brian Kreidler from UCLA. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 13, Andrew Millis from Missouri State. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 51, Skylar Hunter from Purdue. The starting pitcher for the Gatemen this evening is number 36, Ryan Garcia from UCLA. We'd like to welcome tonight's game sponsor, Pet Recess Incorporated. Founded in 2007, Pet Recess offers doggy daycare, boarding, at-home care, Sunday playtime, grooming and nail trims. Call 508-946-DOGS or visit www.petrecess.net. We'd like to welcome all dogs and their humans to Spillane Field for tonight's game. There are water bowls set up around the park in case your canine companion gets thirsty. Please be sure to follow leash laws and clean up after your pet. Also make sure to visit the concession stand for a special treat before they sell out. At this time, we ask you to please rise and move your caps for the singing of the national anthem. Here to perform tonight's national anthem, please welcome Kat Jones. Kat is the Executive Director of the Onset Bay Association. A native of Natick, Massachusetts, Kat has called Onset home for the last 21 years. When she is not busy volunteering her time for the community, she sings for a Led Zeppelin tribute band called Heartbreaker and also runs an Airbnb in the village with her boyfriend Ian and dog Scooch.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Here to throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch is Julia Dixon. Julia is the owner of Pet Recess and a new resident of Wareham. She's with Sam, who needs a new home. We are happy to welcome Pet Recess as a new sponsor this season. Catching tonight's first pitch will be number 14, Luke Roscoe. When you're ready, Julia, let's see a pitch. tonight to say those two famous words we all love to hear. Our members, the Onset Foursquare Church, will be providing the post-game meal for the Gatemen tonight. Thank you for your generosity and support of the Gatemen. Play ball! The back kids for this evening are Daniel Peters and Colin Reardon.
Beautiful day for baseball here on an awesome Friday afternoon. Skies are perfectly clear. It was a little cloudy earlier, but everything is all signs good for Wareham Gatemen baseball on WCTV. Hi, everybody. My name is Henrique Demore, joined by everybody here in the booth just above the left field bleachers here. And give a shout out to all my fellow interns doing the broadcast for the Gatemen Baseball Network: Cam Stewart, JD Rachi, Trevor Russo, Cam Gonsalves, Mary Orders, our sideline reporter, Ian Becerra, our beat writer, and Dan Longton, of course, our camera extraordinaire, aficionado. All sorts of fun four-syllable words you can think of for someone who's really good at what he does. The Hyannis Harborhawks, who are really good at baseball, that's what they do. They are coming to town today to try to step on the throats of the Gatemen after embarrassing Wareham a couple days ago at McKeon Park, 9-1. And that, of course, probably done in revenge to what the Gatemen did to the Harborhawks last time they were here at Spillane Field. They beat them 9-0. That was Mike Mockma, who lasted 2/3 of an inning, giving up 4 earned runs. He got absolutely shelled. Today, it will not be Mr. Mockma. He was the original starter, or I guess the scheduled starter, just numbers-wise. But in actuality, Harborhawks have gone with someone a little different. They've gone with redshirt freshman from Clemson. Redshirt his freshman year, Travis Marr, number 16. From Clemson, as I mentioned. He got absolutely lit up in his first start, gave up 8 earned runs, but bounced back nicely against a Falmouth team that at that point was struggling really hard. They've won 4 straight, but before that they rattled off 6 straight losses. But he bounced back really nicely, gave up just 3 hits, 3 base runners as well in form of walks, but no runs earned or otherwise for Marr. But right now, the Harborhawks up to bat, and it's Davis Wenzel, the usual leadoff guy for the Harborhawks. Will face Ryan Garcia, the sophomore from UCLA, making his second start on the Cape after dealing strike 1 to Wenzel. From the windup, here's pitch number 2. Just outside for ball 1. Garcia, if you've been tuned in with us this year, you'll know what kind of a special talent this kid is. He wasn't a big strikeout guy this past year at UCLA, which is weird considering what he did to the Orleans Firebirds. And what ended up being a 10-3 loss is that one sails just onto the right part of the zone there for strike 2. But what he did to the Orleans Firebirds was borderline mean. He struck out 9 of them in 4 innings of work. As that one is rocketed off the bat of Wenzel into right field, foul. Going over there to grab it is Jeremy Idens, today starting right fielder. Right to left, Jeremy Idens in right field. Skylar Hunter in center, and Bryant Packard in left. Normal look for the Gatemen in the outfield. And in the infield, pair of usual suspects, Austin Shenton at third. Ryan Kreider getting to start at short today, though. Zahid Valenzuela at second, and Lyle Lockhart Jr. at first base. Breaking ball just misses upstairs. That'll make it 2-2 to the sophomore shortstop from Baylor. Wenzel, a power guy at Baylor. We haven't seen a ton of it this year, though. We're here on the Cape, I should say. That one lifted high and deep into left field. Packer going back on it. He looks up. That's going to be one hopped off the wall just as I say that. Davis Wenzel turning on the power for a leadoff double off Garcia. Man in scoring position in the first couple minutes of the game for the Harborhawks.
The second baseman, number 9, Braden Como.
Braden Como, the batter now, sophomore, just finished up his sophomore year at Rice. Like I mentioned, last time these two teams played, it was the Harborhawks who walked away winners 9-1. And a bit of a perplexing outing offensively for the Gatemen that day, as despite losing by 8, they had as many hits as the Harbor Hawks. Both teams registered 12 base knocks on the day. As that one gets to the outside corner to the righty Como. He didn't really like the call, but it is strike one. But the Gatemen, it was a lot of singles, a lot of station-to-station baseball, as my broadcast partner Cam Stewart likes to call it. But couldn't come up with the big hit despite registering as many base knocks. That one grounded over to second on a few hops. Valenzuela over to first. Routine for the Cal State Fullerton Titan. And that is one down, but Davis Wenzel able to move over to third on the play. Intelligent hitting from Como. Man on second, less than 2 outs. Fire it over to the right side and let the infield do what they will with it. They will advance the runner, and it does. Now Seth Gray, the batter of Wright State. Pretty good year this year for Mr. Gray. Last time the Harbor Hawks were here at Spillane in that 9-0 victory for Wareham. It was the Harbor Hawks couldn't get much of anything going except for Seth Gray. He went 3 for 3 with 3 singles. He bats in the 3-hole right now. Matthew Barefoot bats behind him in the cleanup spot. Barefoot's got pop in his bat. Gateman learned that the hard way. He put a charge into a ball out of the hand of Ken Waldachuk, who had an unusually rough start. As Waldachuk had been throwing ace stuff all year, as that one's in the dirt. But had a hiccup of a start against Hyannis. And this game, for the second time in a row these two teams are playing, will decide who gets first place in the West. Gatemen currently 1 game out. Gatemen are 10-6 on the year. Hyannis 10-4-1. So that tie giving them 1 more point and 2 fewer losses also helping that out. Breaking ball in there, strike 2. Very well placed by Garcia. Started out just in between the letters in the belt and dropped below the belt. Leaves that one any higher on 2-1. It could be trouble, but again, well located by the sophomore Bruin. Infield playing straight up, 1 out. Scoreless in the first. That one chopped foul. So we'll do it again. Count remains 2-2. Hyannis, a bit of a confusing team given that they have a -5 run differential. Despite being 10-4-1, they've rattled off 6 straight wins and haven't lost in 7, as the game before that was a draw. I believe it was against YD, if my memory served me correctly, as that one's fouled back, so we'll do it again, 2-2. It was against Chatham at Veterans Field, a 3-3 draw back on June 21st. Since then, it's been all business for Hyannis. Rattled off 6 straight wins, like I said, and took over first place with their 4th straight win. That one chopped right side, foul. If you're a college baseball fan, you know that the man who used to patrol first base for the Gatemen just won the nation's highest honor as far as college baseball, the Heisman of college baseball, the Golden Spikes Award. Andrew Vaughn was voted the winner of that award as just a sophomore, beat out 3 seniors for that award, a #1 overall draft pick, a 2nd-round pick in Cody Clemens, as well as Brady Singer of Florida, I believe. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. That one brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. If the start against Orleans is any indication, that'll be the first of many for Garcia, and a big second out, but that'll bring up Matthew Barefoot, redshirt sophomore from Campbell. Infield again playing straight up, but now not willing to surrender a run. As any sort of put out that ends in a 3 will retire the inning. Barefoot bats from the right side, checks his swing. I guess the ump said he on a check swing, tipped it into the glove of Drew Millis behind the dish. Michael Amditas back to Miami. Miami in Florida, the U, as it were, to finish up summer school. I guess to start and finish summer school. That one sails outside, 1-1. So it'll be Drew Millis and Luke Roscom from here on out, sharing time behind the plate. Scoreless in the top of the first. Hyannis threatening with a man on third, 2 down. Breaking ball, another one. Very well placed on the outside corner. Make it strike 2 on Matthew Campbell. Pedro Page is another dangerous hitter. The 3 through 6 for Hyannis is loaded. Seth Gray, Matthew Barefoot, Pedro Page has launched a 3-run jack off the scoreboard in McKeon Park last time for these two teams played. That one ripped foul, 1-2. The count will remain. And Trevor Hover of Arizona State. Teammates at Arizona State with Spencer Torkelson, former Chatham Angler. Led the nation with 25 home runs this year as a freshman. He has since gone to Team USA. That one lifted about 1.5 miles high, foul territory, third base side. Shenton looks like he's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch to strand the runner at third and leave the Harbor Hawks scoreless. We go to the bottom of the first inning, 0-0 on WCTV.
Once again, we'd like to thank Pet Recess for being part of tonight's game and for their sponsorship this season. Call 508-946-DOGS for all your grooming needs to get your pups spruced up for summer. Make reservations for your pups when you head out of town or to arrange a fun play day. Stop by the Pet Recess table and see Julia for more information. And also meet Sam, a rescue dog who needs a new loving home.
We appreciate the fact that fans support the Cape League in the spring season. Our corporate sponsors of the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of allowing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the entire Cape League family, we would like to acknowledge and thank our community corporate sponsors. Chatham Martin, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling, Cape Cod, Cape Cod Potato Chips, Cumberland Farms, Baseball Factory,
Welcome back to WCTV, and in a hurry, Jeremy Idens busts out of a slump in a big way, hits a rocket into the left field bleachers, and the Gatemen lead it 1-0. First pitch he saw off Travis Marr, the redshirt freshman from Clemson, he clobbered. He got all of that one and harkens back to his Cape League debut where he faced the Hyannis Harbor Hawks earlier this year in that 9-0 victory and hit a double off that very same spot in the wall, but this time it cleared it. Saheed Valenzuela bats with the bases empty in a 1-run lead. Second pitch of the day, a strike, after the first one was launched by Jeremy Idens. Good to see him bust out of a slump. He was struggling. A lot of strikeouts in the last few games for the the right fielder, I should say, for the Gatemen. That one, strike two delivered to Valenzuela. The 0-2, swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. Heck, what a way to bounce back. 3 straight strikes after giving up the solo shot to Idens, 1 away.
Third baseman, number 12, Austin Shenton from Florida International.
Shenton the batter now. Shenton still batting at an absolutely torrid rate, .422. He's been hitting above the 400 mark for a ridiculously sustained pace, almost a little over a week now, I believe. And I want to say that's good for the best batting average in the Cape. Let me double check on that one. I find it hard to believe there'd be anyone batting better than him. And it is, in fact, Tristan English of Chatham, the only guy who's even close at 405. Those two, the only ones batting above 400. Next closest Gateman. Inactive Gateman, Andrew Vaughn. Active Gateman, Sahid Valenzuela, but not with enough at-bats to technically qualify for the Cape-wide leaderboard. So, Brian Packard at 292 holds that spot. Strike 2 delivered. Shenton quickly down 1-2. Gutsy take on the outside corner. Did not get the call. 2-2. I mentioned how of Clemson as that one is looped right into the glove of the shortstop Davis Wenzel. Weekly hit, out number 2. Here comes Brian Packard, a guy who a lot of power at East Carolina, 4th most home runs in the country. We haven't quite seen him whip out the big stick, as it were, this year for the Gatemen. But it seems like he has, and just in time. Not a moment too soon, as Andrew Vaughn and Bryson Stott, 2 of the guys, but Vaughn especially, provided a lot of the power for the Gatemen this year, have left. Vaughn through a short tenure with the Gatemen, swing and a miss on that one, 1-1. Led the team in RBIs with 14 and home runs with 5. No one else is too close to that number. That one misses, 1-2. Austin Shenton has 9 RBIs. Jeremy Idens now with 9 as well with that home run. But on the ding-dong leaderboards, Brian Packard is second best, and he's got 2. And he's hit those 2 just in the last week. So on a bit of a hot streak, but only because the season started out so cold power-wise for him. That one taken as well, 2-2. But Packard was hitting in the high 200s all year, so it's not like he hasn't been productive at the plate, just not at the clip we saw at ECU. That one lifted into right field, should be routine. Coming in on it, not going to break the play, actually, is Trevor Hover of Arizona State. He had Packard played very, very deep. So Packard comes away with a single, and the Gatemen aren't dead yet in the first. Packard comes through with a single, and Lyle Lockhart Jr. will be the batter. Lockhart also someone with a good amount of power, a two-way guy from Houston, batted just a clip under 300. Lockhart batting .222 on the year, but 4 RBIs, 4 walks as well, 7 strikeouts in his 6 games. It's a number he would like to get down, but has been hitting better as of late. He takes strike 1. Another guy who's starting to come into his own power-wise, him and Brandon Phillips will be rotating DH and first base with the absence of Andrew Vaughn. Pick off to first. Back in there safely, though, is Packard. Not much of a base-stealing threat. But Lockhart 2 for 3 in the win against Chatham. Hitless in the loss to Hyannis, but 1 for 3 in the game against YD. That one will be fielded by Wenzel. He steps on second base for the unassisted fielder's choice to retire the side. The Gatemen get 1 on the leadoff home run by Jeremy Idens. They lead it 1-0. Go to the top of the second inning on the Wareham, or on WCTV. Welcome back to Spillane Field. 1-0 Gatemen on the Jeremy Hyannis leadoff home run, and now going back to work for the Gatemen is Ryan Garcia. Surrendered a leadoff double in the first to Davis Wenzel, but sat down the next three. Hyannis Harbor Hawks in order. That one fouled straight down, 0-1. The batter is Pedro Pages, and the record has been good for him as of late against the Wareham Gatemen. A 3-run shot off the scoreboard above right field at McKeon Park. Last time these two teams played in a 9-1 victory for the Harbor Hawks, in which they overtook the Gatemen for first place in the West. Have held that ever since. Now, that was only a few days ago. Both teams won in their contest since then, so the standings have remained the same. Check swing. Did he go? No. Actually, an appeal finally is made to first base. First base umpire says no. So it is, in fact, 1-1. Pedro's a free swinger. A second, his strikeout number, excuse me. That one misses 2-1. Strikeout number at 12. Second most on the team behind Todd Lott, who bats in the 7-hole today of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. But Page's 7 RBIs. And that home run was the first of this year, but the big first baseman can hit for some power, and he hits for average as well. 317 on the year. His 13 hits trail only Matthew Barefoot and tie with Braden Como. Two-two. Hard chopper foul down the first base line. We'll do it again. Garcia comes set from the windup. Hard ground ball, chop the other way, foul. For the FAU Owls this year, career highs across the board in his second year with the Owls. Batted .309 with 4 home runs, 31 RBIs, 51 hits, 9 doubles, and slugged .436. So a lot of pop in this bat. That one misses low. The count will now run full. To the leadoff batter in this inning, Pedro Pages. He'll be followed by Trevor Hover and Todd Lott. Payoff pitch. Light laser fielded on one hop by Kreidler. He's going to send it across the diamond for out number 1. Well played by Kreidler off to his side. Didn't let it gobble him up. Play the short hop about as well as you could. That's a very tough play to make. The stone dust tends to bounce true. The lips around Spillane can be tricky. But if it takes a hop off the stone dust with no wonky spin, you're usually going to be okay. So 4 straight Harbor Hawks retired by Garcia. And now Trevor Hover, the batter. Fouls that one straight back. Took the mask off Millis there, it looked like. 1-0 Gatemen. We're in the top of the second inning. 1 down, base is empty for Trevor Hover. Arizona State Sun Devil takes ball 2. Or ball 1, excuse me. Let's move the count to 1-1. Garcia calls time and set. 1-1 pitch right down Broadway. Didn't matter if he went around or not. Strike 2. Bark at the Park day here at Spillane. Saw some furry friends at kind of all over the place, actually. But the other animals welcome here, the Harbor Hawks, not welcomed with such open arms and water bowls across certain premises in the field. And apparently some sweet treats at the Snack Shack concession stand. 4 canine companions. Have to see what one of those is. That breaking ball just missed. My goodness. Don't know how much that missed by, but enough apparently for the home plate umpire to deem it ball 3. Count goes full on Trevor Hover. Looked like a real good put-out pitch from Garcia. See if he goes back to it. Goes with the fastball. Got him. Strike 3 for out number 2. That one brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. Ryan Garcia battles back from adversity with aplomb. Now here is Todd Lott, designated hitter from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Related to Hall of Fame linebacker Ronnie Lott of the 49ers. The 2010 edition of the Top 100 NFL's Greatest Player as Ever, ranked number 11. Not sure how many Bay Area football fans we have around here, but there's some dinner table fodder. I don't really know a lot. I'm from the Detroit area. I root for the hapless Detroit Lions throughout the regular season, and when they make the playoffs, I'll root for them in the playoffs, but that doesn't happen too often. Breaking ball again, fouled off down the third baseline. These two teams vying for supremacy in the West Division. As I mentioned, Hyannis kind of out of nowhere as they were struggling through the first few games of the season, but have recently rattled off 6 straight wins. A couple of those are the blowout variety, as that one is lifted lazily fouled down the first baseline.
You can keep that foul ball, courtesy of attorney.
What's interesting about Hyannis is they don't have any. The standout stars have started to emerge during this win streak. As far as raw talent coming out of their respective schools, there weren't any standout guys really on this Hyannis roster. As that one is lifted into left field, that's going to get down for a base hit, going to go all the way to the wall. Bryant Packard will follow it. We get the throw into second base, but another double, 2 hits, 2 doubles for the Harbor Hawks. This one comes with 2 outs. Now the center fielder Tommy Jew with a chance to drive in the first run of the game for Hyannis and tie this one up in the second.
Center fielder number 13, Tommy
Redshirt sophomore of UC Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. Their biggest rival, 2 hours up PCH in the California Polytechnic State University Mustangs. Cal Poly Slow, SLO, as that one is delivered for a strike at the knees. Interesting tradition they do at, I've got a friend of mine goes to Cal Poly Slow out west, and they're big rivals with UCSB Gauchos, like I said. And I don't know if they do this at all games, but at soccer games anyway, part of the rivalry between these two teams. That one is lifted into left field, going to get down for another base hit. Coming around third, and they're going to try to score. Todd Lott, the throw down to the plate, going to get him by 1.5 miles. I don't know what the Harbor Hawks were thinking there. That was lazily hit. Packard's got an absolute cannon in left. They are not going to test it again. Lesson learned by the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and they will settle for 0 runs in this one. We go to the top of the second inning. Gatemen lead 1-0 on WCTV. Welcome back to Spillane Field, bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Gatemen, as Todd Lott was absolutely hosed at home plate on a 7-2 putout to retire the side after Tommy Jew singled sharply into left field. And I say absolutely hosed, not because it took a spectacular throw from Brian. I mean, no discredit to him. His throw was right on the money, but he let go of the ball when Todd Lott was barely past the cutout at third base. I was absolutely baffled by the third base coach's decision to send Todd Lott and not just keep runners at the corners with 2 outs. We've seen this Hyannis Harbor Hawks lineup hit the hard way. 2-1 coming into Parks. That one lifted into right field. That's his first base hit on the K. Pavin Parks in his second game after an offer in his debut against Chatham yesterday delivers from the DH spot. Gatemen have the leadoff man aboard. Ryan Kreidler will bat now. Shortstop sophomore from UCLA. But on a questionable, we'll say questionable, base coaching decision from the Harbor Hawks, the Gatemen retain a 1-0 lead. There's a throw from Packard to Mills, was right on the money, and the ball arrived before Todd Lott even entered the dirt circle around home plate. Now on a strike at the knees. But on the subject of Tommy Jew, I'm going to finish telling you this this weird thing that I don't know if both teams do it, but I know Cal Poly Slow does it to UC Santa Barbara. At soccer games, to taunt or mess with or distract UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, that one a pickoff move, nothing doing though. Pavin Parks back in there safely. They'll throw tortillas onto the field. Again, why? I have no idea. I'll text my buddy, and next time I'm on air, next time we play the Harbor Hawks, I'll let you guys know. But it's one of those things that you do, and it's not exactly like school supported, so it's a little frowned upon. He was promptly kicked out of the stadium for throwing tortillas, him and his buddies that were doing it. But they snuck back in with another fresh batch from the grocery store down the street and kept on doing it. And they did not get kicked out the second time. So I don't know if it was just they stopped resisting or what, but interesting West Coast rivalry traditions for you. Parks takes off, chopper, first base side. They're going to settle for 1. That could have been a double play, but because of the jump that Parks got off first base, that'll be a 3 unassisted putout for those of you keeping score at home. Productive AB from Kreidler, though, moves the runner into scoring position with 1 out for Drew Millis.
The catcher, number 13, Andrew Millis from Missouri State.
1 down, man on second, bottom of the second. Gatemen lead it 1-0. Millis, the batter, here's a guy who has seen his bat heat up as of late. And just in time, too, as him... Excuse me, my goodness. Chugged a lot of water right before this. I guess it's not agreeing with me. That one a strike delivered at the knees. But Drew Millis has got his bat going at just the right time. 2 for 4 in the loss to Hyannis, one of the few offensive bright spots for the game in that 9-1 shellacking. He's batting .231 on the year, but his numbers have been ticking upwards. He's been hitting the ball harder and harder every time he's come to the plate. Has the Swansea, Illinois native. That one in the dirt. Able to hold on to it, though, is Lindsley. Behind the plate. We'll give the defensive alignment. My apologies, should have done this in the first inning. Defensive alignment for the Harbor Hawks. From left to right in the outfield, Matthew Barefoot, Tommy Jew, and Trevor Hover. Left to right in the infield, Seth Gray, Davis Wenzel, Braden Como, and Pedro Pages. And behind the plate, Brady Lindsley of Oklahoma. Mar checks twice, goes forward with it. That one weakly hit chopper right side. Coming in on it, Como, and he missed it. He misplayed it. And everyone is safe. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Drew Millis, the benefactor of what will surely go down as an E4. No excuse not to stop that one if you're Braden Como. So the game will take it any way they can get it, especially after being embarrassed the last time these two teams played. There's Drew Millis, Braden Como. Not officially credited with the error, but I imagine it's only a matter of time before it goes in officially. And now with runners at the corners and 1 out, here is Skylar Hunter. And he's a guy who has impressed over and over again. Absolutely dazzling plays in center field from the Purdue Boilermaker. And there it is, folks, the E4. First error of the day for either team. But Hunter has struggled with the plate as he rifles one into the Harbor Hawks dugout. Batting just 132, but he does have the clutch gene. He's come up big in situations with runners in scoring position, situations where the Gatemen need a hit, down by one, ahead by one, and such. He has been very, very clutch. Pickoff attempt is made over to first. One nothing Gatemen. We're in the bottom of the second inning. That one is fouled off into the loading dock at Wareham High and Middle School, home of the Vikings. Left field here at Spillane functioning as, or left and center field, I should say, really, as the football field and soccer fields as well. I imagine probably lacrosse played as well. Don't know if they got a field hockey team. More of a West Coaster myself, so I haven't seen field hockey played except at Northwestern. That one fouled off onto the roof of the high school. So 1-2 the count with one out on Skylar Hunter. That one in the dirt. Lindsley holds on to it, but not quick enough as Drew Millis takes second base. An intelligent from Lindsley to hold on to it, but as soon as Millis, credit him, was seeing that as soon as that ball went into the dirt, he took off, especially important with runners at the corner, so it takes away the double play with one out. There's two runners in scoring position, and even if he were to draw the throw, like I said, with one out, even if he were to draw the throw from second, and even if he were to get gunned down at second base, if Pavin Parks at third is paying attention, he scores on that play easily, so good aggressive base running from the Gatemen. Swing and a miss. His first base is open, and carrying the bat halfway down the first base line is Skylar Hunter. The throw makes it over to second for out number 2. Second one of the day for Travis Marr.
Jeremy Hyannis from UCLA.
Iden's the batter. He, of course, hit a home run on the first pitch of the ball game. About 2 rows up into the left field bleachers here at Spillane Field. Give the game in a 1-0 lead, and that's all she wrote offense-wise for either team, really. Pair of hits for both clubs, 3 for Hyannis, 3 for Wareham. 1 error for Hyannis as well, but 1 run for Wareham. Rest of the game's going on the Cape today, as that one misses low, 1-1. The Brewster Whitecaps continue to struggle to find wins. They won it all last year with a thrilling win over the then 3-time champion, or the then 3 straight champion YD Red Sox, who 3-peated in 14, 15, and 16. Brewster won it in 17. That one ball low, 2-1. And the Whitecaps beat the YD Red Sox in the East Division Finals. So the championship matchup as the Western Conference Finals was Wareham-Bourne, if you guys remember. Bourne beat Wareham as Wareham snuck in there as a 4-seed, took down Falmouth in the first round. But a rematch today in Bourne. That one catches the knees, 2-2 with 2 down. And Bourne is out for revenge. They're out for blood. They are beating up on the Brewster Whitecaps 7-0 in the bottom of the third. Harwich ahead of Orr leads 2-0 in the first. Chatham and YD scoreless in the first, and Katuitt ahead of Falmouth 4-1, trying to put an end to the Commodores' winning streak. Hard ground ball through the left side. That's going to get down for a base hit. Matthew Barefoot comes up with it, but there will be no throw to the plate. Coming around easily to score is Pavin Parks and Drew Millis. 3-0 Gatemen in the bottom of the second inning. Jeremy Iden's now with 3 RBIs in 2 at-bats. We knew Iden's had it in him, but it's good to see him bust out of a slump, a strikeout-heavy one at that. He was one of the tougher outs in the Gatemen lineup his first 4 games. But in the last 3 games, especially starting again, it was really starting against Hyannis that it got ugly. Struck out multiple times in both those games. That one in the win against Chatham, easily grounded over to second. For Como, he fires over to Pages to retire the side, so the Gatemen strand 1, but they score 2. Jeremy Iden's the hero again. 3-0 Gatemen to go to the top of the third inning on WCTV.
Boys and girls, it's time to play the 50-50 raffle. This evening we're giving away 12 great prizes. prizes, including Wareham Gatemen for Andrew Vaughn, who was just voted the best in the baseball player. American Cafe gift certificate. Waterwood all-day passes for 2. DC Network Guys gift certificate. The Hyannis Steamship Authority round trip Hyannis to Nantucket. Southern Marsh Golf Club won 4 swimming cars. Double back massage therapy gift certificate. Highline Harbor Cruise in Hyannis. Highline Town 2. Kentucky Red Sox General Edition seats. Air Kentucky Red Sox box seats. And of course the grand prize half of the raffle earnings. Tickets tonight is sold by Nathan Pictures, Nathan Florence, Katie Wally, Joey John Matthews, Julia, and Stephanie. And tonight we're pleased to have special guests in turn, James and Anna. We'll also be joining our raffle team. Take a chance to support Nathan and win some great prizes with tonight's gift from travel.
With the focus on those lab testing, improvers, and energy color, Barron School is the name that's trusted by coaches, players, and parents alike. Barron School, proud to be a national sponsor of Big Soccer and Marathon athletes in their big regions on screen. Visit BaseballFactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Baseball Factory holds over 600 events nationwide for fans to go to high school and middle school, including free training here on the state. Baseball Factory alumni play up every Division I college program across the nation with thousands of drafts and more than 500 major events.
Bush Hunter, number 33, Rensley from Oklahoma.
Welcome back to Spillane Field, 3-0 Gatemen. Wareham piling it on early in revenge for what the Hyannis Harborhawks did to them a couple days ago at McKeon Park. And tomorrow those two teams will play again at McKeon Park 3 times in 5 days, 4 games. These two teams will meet. 2 more meetings scheduled between these two ball clubs. Those two come in, one in early July, one in late July. Ryan Garcia back to work for the Gatemen, wearing their Friday home reds today. As is tradition all around the Cape League, the visitors in their usual visitor garb. White pants for the Gatemen today and the camo hats. Both teams sporting camo hats on defense. White numbers on the red jerseys. On the front they just say Cape Cod. Hyannis sporting the white pants as well, which is interesting on the road. Blue jerseys, orange sleeves, and gigantic orange numbers on the back of the jerseys. That one lifted 1.5 miles high, third base side, ranging over is Shenton. He will run out of room. A long, loud strike puts it at 2-2. Brady Lindsley is the batter. 9-1-2 is what Ryan Garcia will face. Lindsley, Wenzel, and Como. 1 hit between the 3 of those guys today. Wenzel led the game off with a leadoff double. Fastball misses way upstairs with that one. Count goes full. Garcia making his second start for the Gatemen. 9 strikeouts in 4 innings against Orleans last Friday, so exactly a week from today, and he missed with that one. Up and away, and the leadoff man is aboard for the second time in 3 innings for the Hyannis Harborhawks.
From Baylor.
Davis Wenzel, the batter, doubled to lead things off. With that kind of statement made in the first at-bat, I think everybody here at Spillane Field feared the worst, that it was going to be one of those days again for the Gatemen against the Harborhawks. That one, really good fastball at the knees, and an even better frame by Drew Mills to bring that one up into the eye shot of the home plate umpire. Hard chopper fouled down the third base line. Gatemen trying to extend on a scintillating home record this year. They are 7-1 at Spillane, 3-5 otherwise, and 3-2 against West Division opponents. beat Chatham yesterday, or excuse me, 2 days ago. Yesterday was an off day. 7-3. Gatemen moved to 3-0 against the natives of Veterans Field, way out there in the southeast corner of the Cape, the Lower Cape. For those of you that aren't from around here, but I guess if I'm on WCTV today, it means pretty much everyone's from around here, or at least hanging out here in the summer on the Upper Cape. It was Upper Cape, Mid Cape, Lower Cape, we're going from west to east. As I learned here, my friend Sam Brief, who broadcasts for Katuitt, I'm from Northwestern University, so because of our quarter system, I got out here extremely late. Only a couple games before the start of the regular season. My friend Sam, also from Northwestern, but managed to sneak out of school a few days earlier than me because of final exam scheduling. As in, he just got lucky with his pickoff attempt over to first, nothing doing. I said, oh yeah, Orleans, that's the longest road trip we have to make. Furthest team west, furthest team east. I'm like, yeah, they're on like the Northeast Cape. And he says, no one says that here. You don't call it East Cape, West Cape, Central Cape. You say Upper, Mid, and Lower Cape. Upper is west, mid is central, lower is the East Cape. That one in the dirt. Thought about it, did Lindsley at first, but Drew Millis kept it in front of him, so no harm, no foul. Runner on first, nobody out, top of the third inning. Gatemen lead it 3-0. Davis Wenzel already has a double on the day, trying to add to that total, but not if Ryan Garcia has anything to say about it. But Wenzel going to send a hard ground ball through into left field. Nice diving attempt by Ryan Kreidler, but it just snuck under his glove. So with a walk and a base hit, Harbor Hawks trying to answer back here. The tying run at the plate is Braden Como.
Braden Como from Rice.
Sophomore from Rice University. Is 0 for 1 with a ground out to Valenzuela at second. And Valenzuela, his counterpart, is also grounded out to Braden Como at 1 point. So both second basemen have grounded out to each other already so far. But Como also botched a ball that allowed the Gatemen to get runners at the corners and ended up coming back to bite the Gatemen. That was Drew Millis who reached on the error, came over to second on a stolen base. And both of them scored on the Jeremy Iden single. Iden provided all the offense today, 3 RBIs for him. Took Travis Marr deep on the first pitch of the game, shows bunt, fouls it straight up in the press box's direction, 0-1. Hot one today at Spillane after a torrential downpour yesterday. 78 right now, but with the humidity, which, as I'm told, this isn't even too bad humidity-wise around these parts. Shows bunt, pulls back as that one is low and away, 1-1. I'm from Southern California, so I'm not really used to the humidity in the summer. Well, sweating bullets all day, filming the pregame show. It's a little cooler up here. Sun's starting to set probably about an hour from sunset here on the Upper Cape. Now Como waiting on the 1-1. He's got 2 on, shows bunt, pulls back again. Corners crashing for Wareham. Ryan Kreidler shuffling over to second. Valenzuela moving over to first. And with that defensive alignment, corners crashing, everybody else covering first and second, they're opting to surrender third base. Try maybe to turn that double play. That one fouled straight back, 2-2. Winner of this game takes over first place in the West Division. Breaking ball, not a chance. Full count. Gatemen relinquished first place for the first time this year to the Harbor Hawks with that 9-1 loss. Payoff pitch, fouled off again. We will do it one more time. Count remains full. Outfield not playing too deep on Como. Trying to gun down more runners at home plate. Todd Lott, the first and only victim of a put out at home today. Bryant Packard threw a strike to Drew Millis. A 200-foot strike to preserve what was then a 1-0 lead. 2 on, nobody out for the Harbor Hawks. The full count pitch to Como is skied foul again. Willis gives chase, but very quickly runs out of room, clangs off the bleachers and out into the parking lot. We'll do it again. Count remains full. Como, the last time these two teams met, 2 for 3 with a run scored. Pair of singles and a flyout. And the win again. Excuse me. And the win against Brewster, 2 for 5 as well. Boosted that batting average to .317. Good for second best on this Harbor Hawks team. He fouls another one off, and it's part of the reason he's been so good putting together these good at-bats. And driving up the pitch count of Garcia, which now sits at 62, 63rd pitch of the inning. Or excuse me, not the inning, of the day. Coming up for Garcia. 9th pitch of the at-bat. Coming in. Miller sets up low and inside. Full count pitch, hard ground ball, left side. Kreidler gets to it, over to third. In time, the 6-5 putout retires the lead runner, and we have one away. Wenzel moves over to second. Braden Como takes first on the 6-5 fielder's choice. And Brady Lindsley retired on the base paths. One away, same situation, first and second. Gatemen still lead at 3-0 though. But if there's some guys who can change that scoreline, it's the ones coming up in the lineup for Hyannis: Seth Gray, Matthew Barefoot, and Pedro Pages. With the right outcome, the Gatemen will only have to face Gray. Swing and a miss. Heck of a fastball upstairs. We saw a lot of guys in the Orleans outing. The debut for Mr. Garcia. Cut and miss at that high fastball. And the reason for that is Garcia's not a big dude. He's 5'10", 5'11", and you don't usually see that kind of frame out of a guy who, you know, registers 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. That one a strike at the knees. Really good 1-2 punch from Garcia. 1 strike away from retiring Seth Gray. The ideal scenario, a double play, and the middle of the infield's ready for it. But a strikeout will do just fine, but we'll have to face Matthew Barefoot. The 0-2 pitch, I imagine breaking ball low, one with a fastball and missed by about 5 feet. Bounce in the dirt, 1-2. But the reason that Garcia is able to get a lot of swings and misses on fastballs at the letter is because of his smaller frame, and that combined with just good mechanics, really, he's able to get a really good spin rate on the ball, faster than most guys. So the ball stays straight, but because of his small frame and like the lower release point relative to taller guys, that one's fouled off, it looks like the fastball's rising. So what looks like starting out at the letters like a nice high fastball looks pretty crushable to a lot of trigger happy hitters, and really any hitter. If you ask them, you know, what's your favorite pitch to swing at, they'll say hanging breaking ball or high fastball. But it looks like it's rising, so it ends up at shoulder level, and you swing right through it, you look real silly. That happened to a lot of Orleans Firebirds last Friday. That one in the dirt, 2-2. Garcia, like I said, not a big strikeout guy at UCLA, but he's got it going for him so far on the Cape. Gateman's starting rotation has been the most consistent part of this team. Full count pitch. Lifted about 1.5 miles high, shallow left side of the infield. Shenton coming in on it and makes the catch. Big out number 2. Despite the first 2 men reaching for Hyannis, looks like it might be all for naught, but Matthew Campbell has not seen his at-bat in the 3rd inning yet.
Left fielder number 28, Matthew Barefoot from Campbell.
So with that pop out, here comes the redshirt sophomore from Campbell. Popped out the 3rd his last time up to end the 1st inning. Trying to do, well, anything but that. This ball gets in front of Millis. Thought about the back pick towards second. 2 out, 2 on for Hyannis. Owners of a 6-game win streak. Meanwhile, the Gatemen, after their 4-0 start, have only won half their games, 6-6 since then. They sit a game back of these Harbor Hawks in the West. Only these two teams have ever held first in the West, despite on opening day and after day 1. Wareham with a win would jump back into first place. That one lifted foul. 2-1, really gutsy pitch from Garcia. Mentioned that high fastball. How it is tougher for guys to hit out of the hand of Garcia. 2-0 pitch, that's exactly what Matthew Barefoot was looking to hit, that high fastball. But he got a little bit under it, so Garcia clawing his way back into the count here. The 2-1. Laser into right field, going to get down for a base hit. One runner's going to come around to score. The throw in is cut off at second. Make that 3-1 Gatemen on the RBI single by Matthew Barefoot. And with the fastball again, and he did not miss. Braden Como, my goodness. Moves up to second base. Davis Wenzel with a good jump from second base. Able to score pretty easily. Now Pedro Page is the batter with 2 on and 2 out. Pedro hit his first and only home run of the year against these Gatemen in that 9-1 win. The .317 average as well for this young man. Strike at the knees, good first pitch from Garcia. That first pitch strike so important for pitchers. Garcia no exception. Blazing fastball up and in, 1-1. The movie/book Moneyball has delivered a lot of great baseball lessons, but probably one of my favorite is the one that relates to the first pitch strikeout. Statistically speaking, according to the Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill masterpiece, is that if a hitter goes down 0-1, his batting average goes down 75 points. And that's significant no matter who you are and how good a hitter you are. That is, it takes you down from, that could take you from being a good hitter at a 270 clip to below the Mendoza line. After the 1-1 is fouled straight back, Ryan Garcia one pitch from getting out of this inning. But the Florida Atlantic Owl Pedro Pages does not want to go down quietly without at least giving his team an opportunity to face a 1-run deficit when they come back out in the top half of the 4th. But Garcia, the 1-2, just missed. Good pitch on 1-2. Took a little something off it, low and into the right-hander. Ready from the stretch again. Checks the runner behind him, goes forward. 2-2, chopped straight down. We'll do it again. Barefoot at first, Braden Como at third. Or at second, excuse me. Garcia was taken out after 4 innings of work and 61 pitches and has already eclipsed that here in the 3rd. So we'll see what happens in the 4th. Should he get out of this inning? Breaking ball misses badly. Full count. 79th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Or my goodness, not of the at-bat, of the inning. Second time I made that mistake. My apologies. 79th pitch of the day coming up for Garcia. Be interesting to see what happens after this inning. Payoff pitch with 2 down. That one lifted foul. We'll do it again. These Harbor Hawks have made Garcia throw almost 40 pitches in this inning. They only have 1 run to show for it, but with 1 swing of the bat, could make it 4. Pages again with a 3-run bomb against the Gatemen. Back on Tuesday. Gatemen don't get their usual Monday off day. Instead, we'll settle for a Wednesday, July 4th one. A little better in my opinion. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. Took a little something off it. Pages was not lined up with that one. He swung right through it. And that'll retire the side. Third strikeout of the day for Ryan Garcia. That one brought to you by Langix, Afaris, and Bullard. But the Harbor Hawks do get one across. They still trail 3-1. We go to the bottom of the third from Spillane on WCTV. Welcome back to Spillane Field, bottom of the third inning, 3-1 Gatemen. Harbor Hawks scratched one across on the RBI single by who else? Matthew Barefoot. He was stranded at first, though, as Pedro Pages struck out with 2 on to push the left on base total to 4 already for Hyannis in this one, but a 2-run ball game. And Hyannis can score in bunches. The Gatemen learned the hard way. Austin Shenton is the batter against Travis Marr, back to work for his third inning. That one is lifted foul. Marr, a 6-2 record, mainly a bullpen guy at Clemson. Delivers that one, hard ground ball down the left field line for a base hit. Hard turnaround first, but he doesn't go for it. Shenton will settle for the single. Water is wet, and Austin Shenton continues to notch base hits. Came in today with a .422 batting average, but that should push it just a little higher. After a 1-for-2 day so far today, here comes Bryant Packard with 1 man aboard. Indeed it does, .426 if you can believe that. Packard 1 for 1 today as well, singled in the first. I want to strike at the knees to the slugger from Eastern Carolina. Rightfully be called a slugger now after no home runs through his first 12, I want to say, games. As a Gateman, in the last few, has registered 2. One swing of the bat could give the Gateman a 4-run lead pretty easily here. That's not out of the realm of possibility. 1-1 to Packard. Shenton at first. Swing and a miss. Man, he wanted all of that one. Got none of it. 1-2. Packard batting .306 on the year. 1 of 4. Gatemen batting above .300 in the starting lineup. Brian Kreidler pretty close, though. .294. Gatemen lead the league in runs scored. 79 on the year for them. 12 home runs are good for 3rd on the league, in the league as well. 127 hits on the year, 3rd only to YD and Bourne. 1 on, 1 out, 3-1 Gatemen. That one lifted into left field, right at Matthew Barefoot. He comes in, Shenton retreats, and there is 1 out. Lockhart Jr., the batter, 0 for 1 today, bouncing with fielder's choice that ended the first inning.
The first baseman, number 18, Lyle Lockhart from Houston.
We talked about that Orleans game and how good it was for Ryan Garcia. But for the rest of the game, and not particularly one they like to remember, Lyle Lockhart Jr. in particular lasted a third of an inning and gave up a whole bevy of runs. I forget the exact numbers. I can get those for you here in a second. That was the first of his 2 pitching appearances out of the bullpen. He's a 2-way guy at Houston, but has an extremely inflated 36 even ERA. Gave up 4 earned runs in a third of an inning. In a third of an inning on 3 hits, walked none, but also struck out only 1. Had a good 2/3 of an inning relief appearance in the 4-3 loss in Game 2 of the doubleheader against YD. Didn't allow any hits, runs, walks, any of that stuff. Only lefty in the Gatemen bullpen now with the departure of Mason Fioli. So his role a little more valuable. Time is called as the home plate umpire wipes off the plate. Taking pride in his workspace, trying to keep it clean. Bottom of the third, 1 on, 1 out. Gatemen lead it by 2. 0-2 count to the cleanup hitter Packard. Right fielder Trevor Hover playing him incredibly deep as he was the first time, and Packard snuck a single in front of him. Back in the first inning, another pickoff attempt. Shenton back in there safely though. Shenton 1 for 1 on the base paths, but not particularly a base stealing threat. That one low as well. 1 and 2. Skylar Hunter, obviously the big base stealing threat for the Gatemen, but it was Bryson Stott who had a team leading and still is a team leading 4 stolen bases. But Bryant Packard, funnily enough, with 3 stolen bases. Not often you see a 4-hole slugger run rampant around the base paths, but here we are. One-two chopped weakly right side. Going to be a 3 unassisted there for Pedro Pages at first, but a productive at-bat as it moves, as it moves Austin Shenton over to second base. Lyle Lockhart retired for the 2nd time today.
Designated hitter number 16, Pavin Parks.
Now Pavin Parks with a single and a run scored after registering an offer in his debut yesterday against Chatham. Single to start off the second with a base knock could give his team back that 3-run lead they had. Wareham scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Hyannis answered back with 1 of their own in the top half of this frame. With a man in scoring position, Gatemen have to have a chance to answer back. First pitch strike on the inside corner to Parks. Only rising senior in this starting lineup. Starting pitcher included, everybody else a rising junior. Member of the Kent State Golden Flashes in his spring times. At least the 3 most recent ones anyway. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Good block by Lindsley. Shenton holds up at second base. Ryan Kreidler waits on deck. He's 0 for 1. Umpire calls time back in. Long look at the plate from Marr. Now comes set. Checks the runner, goes forward. Inside, good job by Parks to sell it. Kind of danced out of the way of that one. Lindsley tried to frame it, but to no avail. 2-1, 2 down, man in scoring position for the Gatemen. That one inside as well, same pitch, same result. Bark at the park here, as we mentioned. At Spillane Field. Not sure how recently it was announced. I heard about it yesterday, but I'm also just kind of slow as a person, so maybe the fact that I didn't hear about it is just a result of my own ineptitude on social media and keeping up with promotions. That one low. That'll put runners at first and second. Pavin Parks aboard for the second time today. Ryan Kreidler now with a chance with 2 on to make some noise for the Gatemen. Two on, 2 out for Wareham. First pitch to Kreidler, strike at the knees. Shenton led things off with a single. Line out by Bryant Packard. A bounce out by Lyle Lockhart, followed by a single by Pavin Parks. Or excuse me, a walk. He singled his last time up, my apologies. Down to the dirt, heck of a pick on his right side by Brady Lindsley. Not sure if that was out of necessity or just out of boldness, as that one did have some late break on it, so Lindsay might not have been able to get a jump on it and thrust his whole body in front of it. Opt for the safer option if he would have reacted in time. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, well placed. For strike 2. Drew Millis waits on deck, 0 for 1, reached on an error, ended up scoring. Make it 3-0 Gatemen at that point. One strike away from getting out of the inning is Travis Marr. He deals. Breaking ball low. A little too far outside. If he positioned that one over the middle of the plate, I would not have been surprised if Kreidler bit at it. It was pretty good height-wise, but on the x-axis, if you will, missed by a little too much. But not too bad on 1-2, still technically ahead in the count, 2-2. Deuce is wild. 2-2, 2 outs, 2 on. This time is called. Two-two pitch, hard ground ball, but should be routine for Wenzel. Flips over to second to get the force and retire the side. The Gatemen strand 2 and score 0, but still lead it by 2. We go to the top of the 4th here from Wareham. Right back on, on WCTV.
Located in Wareham Crossing, Coastal Orthodontics, longtime sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen, knows the importance of a healthy smile. Dr. Kevin Oliveira and his team at Coastal Orthodontics are a patient-focused practice, delivering professional, effective orthodontic treatment based on the individual clinical needs of each patient, resulting in beautiful smiles in a timely manner. With 10 years of experience using Invisalign, Coastal Orthodontics uses the most up-to-date dental equipment. Coca-Cola bottle.
Welcome back to Spillane Field, 3-1 Gatemen. Wareham got 2 on the base paths but did not score. First inning they haven't done so today, top of the 4th. 6, 7, 8, Trevor Hover, Todd Lott, and Tommy Jew of UC Santa Barbara. Set to face not Ryan Garcia anymore as his pitch count skyrocketed to above 80, so he was pulled for that reason. Otherwise, he was good. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, let up 1 earned run on 5 hits through the 14 batters that he faced. And entering the game now, it's Easton Lucas, number 23. Left-hander from Pepperdine. That one lifted into center field. Easy money for Trevor Hover. His first knock of the day. Baseman first, or leadoff man aboard now for the 3rd inning here today for Hyannis.
The designated hitter, number 29, Todd Lott from Louisiana Lafayette.
Todd Lott, the batter now. 1 for 1 with a double, but was gunned down trying to score. Way back in the 2nd inning. Lucas originally from Simi Valley, California, pitches for the Pepperdine Waves down in Southern California, a redshirt sophomore. His first appearance took the loss in really what was just an unfortunate placement and just a complete no-show offensively for the Gatemen, a 2-0 loss to Harwich, which was at that point their first loss of the year. Let up 5 hits, 1 earned run over 3 innings of work. Earned a no decision against Brewster, 5 innings of work, 1 run. It was unearned, and scattered 3 hits, struck out 4, and 1 walk. So Easton Lucas has been solid. 6'3", 195. Walking string bean from Southern California. That one is lifted 1.5 miles high, but fouled down the first baseline. 1.12 ERA in his 2 appearances. 8 innings of work, 8 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. And this pitching change, as everyone is this year for Wareham, brought to you by the Bay Point Club, Onset's 18-hole championship golf course. Another pickoff move. Got a driving range open 7 days a week and senior discounts offered every day and always welcome to the public, so do yourself a favor and get to the point. One on, no one out. Lucas trying to retire his first batter of the day, but misses outside with that one to push the count to 2-1 on the University of Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajun, Todd Lott. The 2-1 pitch, high, shallow, right field. Hines and Valenzuela converging on it. Valenzuela calls off his left fielder right in the sun, makes the catch for out number 1. Trevor Hover obviously stays at first base, and now Tommy Jew is the batter, 1 for 1 today. Redshirt sophomore from UC Santa Barbara. Lifts the first one foul straight back. And Jew had himself one heck of a year this year for the Gauchos. 313, slugged 456 as well, knocked in 4 home runs, 28 RBIs in his redshirt sophomore year. The pitch in the dirt. Millis keeps it in front of him, so the runner holds. This Hyannis team, as I mentioned, a bit of a perplexing one as far as the fact that they're in first place, one of only 4 teams on the Cape with a negative run differential. You can bet your top dollar that they are the only one that sit in first place in a division, despite a -5 run differential. Wareham in second in the division for the first time all year with a +13 run differential. They're for second best in the league, one behind Catuit's 14. The hapless Brewster Whitecaps with a -30 run differential. Through 16 games, that's not great. Only won 3 of those 16 games. Parity's big in the Cape League, obviously, as there's no roster turnover, really, year to year. So the fact that the Whitecaps won it all last year and are bar none the worst team in the league this year is off the bat surprising, but when you think about the nature of the Cape League and summer leagues in general, not too surprising. Trevor Hover still at first. Tommy Jew battling and sends a laser into right field. Jeremy Idens giving chase. He will not get to it, and it goes foul. Thought that might have landed fair. But just a loud long strike, 2-2 on Jew. Brady Lindsley, the catcher, waits on deck. Walked in his first plate appearance. Sun has set, not behind the horizon, but behind the high school. 90% of the field under shadow. Lights on at Spillane. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Swing and a miss at a fastball upstairs. He got him. First strikeout of the day for Easton Lucas. That one, of course, brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 2 down, still a runner at first, though, for Hyannis. Brady Lindsley, the batter, as I mentioned.
Number 30, Brady Lindsley from Oklahoma.
Lindsley, 6'1", 210 sophomore, originally from Keller, Texas. Career .266 hitter for the Boomer Sooners, with a 1,000 fielding percentage his freshman year. Played in the Northwoods League last year. I called games in the Northwoods League last year. I didn't see him, though. He was in the South Division for the Wisconsin Woodchucks. Only 1 home run, 11 extra base hits, but found a way to push across 26 runs his sophomore year. And that one, a one-hopper, niftily fielded by Valenzuela, and a 4-3 putout retires the side. Hyannis strands 1, scores 0 in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom half of the frame. Gatemen still ahead 3-1 on WCTV.
Family members of our players attending tonight's game, please give a warm welcome to Hyannis.
Welcome back to Spillane Field, 3-1 Gatemen, bottom of the fourth inning, almost an hour into this one. Actually, almost an hour and a half into this one, my apologies. Scheduled first pitch at 6:30. Don't know when things actually got started, but you can bet it was within a couple minutes of that. Gatemen bounced back nicely from a hammering at the hands of these Harbor Hawks with a win against Chatham yesterday. Now trying to snap Hyannis' 6-game win streak. Your daily This Day in Baseball trivia in the middle of the fourth inning here on WCTV. Dennis Eckersley, famed closer for the Oakland Athletics. Don't know if he's more famous for this, the 26 consecutive strikeouts that he recorded that a major league record. Or 26 consecutive saves, not strikeouts. That would have been ridiculous. 26 consecutive saves for the A's back in 1992, but in '88 famously surrendered the walk-off home run to Kurt Gibson in Game 1 of the '88 World Series. But not to be outdone, Eckersley led his Oakland A's back to the title. In '89, they won it all. Forget who exactly that was against. Even though I am a Detroit fan through and through. Bermuda Triangle forming in right center field. Sliding attempt by Barefoot, not going to get it. It bounces in front of him. Please fill in your divot, sir. Left a big one out there in shallow right center field. Instead just picks up his hat and his glasses. That's okay. That's what we got a ground screw for. And I was just reminded that in 1989 it was actually the earthquake game at, I believe it was Candlestick Park at that point, before AT&T Stadium. That was the, in '89, that was the earthquake between the National League champion San Francisco Giants and the AL champion Oakland A's. Like I said, Oakland taking that series. Shows bunt, pulls back. Strike at the knees, didn't matter. So Drew Millis aboard with a base knock. Skylar Hunter down 0-1. With nobody out in the bottom of the fourth, Gatemen trying to push their lead to 3. Matthew Barefoot made a heck of an attempt at it, but could not grab it. Aggressive secondary off first, but that one fouled off, 0-2. Now, in all the hullabaloo about Dennis Eckersley, forgot to mention there is a pitching change just now for Hyannis. Travis Marr's day is done. The redshirt freshman surrendered 5 hits, 3 runs, only one of them earned, though. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work. From Clemson, he'll make way for Adam Elliott of Louisville. Elliott just finished up his sophomore year with the Cardinals. And in 15 appearances, get this, gave up 0 earned runs. Exclusively a bullpen guy. Pitched only 1 or 2 outs at a time, as that one missed low to Skylar Hunter, batting from the right side. Give up no earned runs, 2 saves. He did give up 4 runs, but none of them were earned. 11 strikeouts in 9 innings of work, 6 walks as well. Opponents hit just 171 off him his sophomore year. That one skied right in the middle of the infield. Let's see who's going to get it. It's the third baseman, Seth Ray, who calls off his pitcher and his shortstop and his second baseman and makes the catch. 1 down here in the 4th.
Right fielder, number 7, Jeremy Iden.
Here comes a guy who's had an absolute day today. Jeremy Idens of UCLA. 3 RBIs, 2 hits, a run scored. Took the first pitch of the game out of the hand of Travis Marr. Rocketed it over the left field wall. His first big fly of the year. 3 RBIs on the day. Taking off from first, the throw down to second, going to roll into center field. Drew Millis with a stolen base. He's shown some aggressive, good high IQ base running today. Along with producing at the plate. Been a good defensive backstop. Him and Luke Roscoe will be splitting time behind the plate with the departure of Michael Amditis. Idens waits on the 1-0. Elliott from the stretch. Kicks, fires. Fastball misses upstairs. Aggressive frame by Lindsley. Doesn't get the call. 2-0. Time is called. Lindsley going to go out and have a chat with his pitcher, make sure they're on the same page. Elliott, a bit of a two-way guy for the Louisville Cardinals. Batted .212 this year at the plate, though. 1 out, runner on second. Pitch out, nothing doing. 3-0. It's exactly what you want to do if you're Drew Millis, is detract from the man at the plate. I'm actually going to intentionally walk him as I look up from my scorebook. So the first 2 balls were unintentional, but Idens walks away with the IBD for those of you keeping score at home, and it's his 3rd time on the base paths today. So now that sets up the double play here for Zahid Valenzuela, who's 0 for 2, still hitting above 350 though. Actually, I stand corrected, 348, so right around 350, but 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a bounce out to his counterpart at second base, Braden Como. First pitch, chopper up the middle. Nifty play by Wenzel. Steps on second by himself. My goodness, what a double play. 6-3. For those of you keeping score at home, and just like that, the side is retired for Wareham. The intentional walk comes up big. Intelligent choice mid-at-bat by the Hyannis battery. Retires a side for Wareham. We're through 4. 3-1 Gatemen on WCTV.
From any device, anywhere, they offer a large selection of apparel and gaming goods 24/7/365. Hard to find sizes, colors, and styles. Weekend registration is also available. Visit us today and remember to call it at 8.org.
The Gateway Tavern located on Wareham Road in Wareham offers a convenient but not exhaustive array of meal choices. They search for the finest foods ranging from Italian restaurants to hand-selected seafood, not to mention the Gateway Tavern is proud to be the official home of the Wareham Gatemen.
Located along the Cape Cod Canal, Keystone Place in Buzzards Bay is the area's newest rental independent living, assisted living, and family care community. With some of the area's largest apartments within Brookside inclusive monthly service. Keystone Place is a blend of Brookside community online and in. Facility assisted living and family care programs provide personal care services according to each individual's needs. Discover Keystone Place, the best option for meeting care and support needs of seniors on the Cape Cod.
One of the Gators' favorite places to learn monthly deals is School Town. You can get anything from fried clams and fried chicken to best new Sunday. And stop it all off for a round of yourself. School Town. We have Route 6 on the Wareham Area line. The law firm of Hyannis Bars and Bowls, providing business and assisted living and veteran units with legal services for 40 years. Please order and serve in need. For appointment, call 508-992-1270. We invite you to learn more about the law firm of Hyannis Bars and Bowls by visiting our website, lsblaw.com.
Welcome back to Spillane Field. 3-1 Gatemen here on WCTV. Easton Lucas back for his 2nd inning of work. Surrendered a leadoff single to Trevor Hover. Back in the 4th, but retired the next 3 Harbor Hawks in order. 7, 8, 9. Now he'll face 1, 2, 3 after throwing 15 pitches in that 4th inning. This game a pivotal one for both of these teams, even though we're only about at the 3rd mark of the season. Game number 17 here for the Gatemen. Game number 16 for the Harbor Hawks. Actually, more accurately, probably around the 2/5 mark. But I'm probably the only person on the entire Cape who cares about the exactness of that number. That one air-mailed foul down
Get
the
that
left field
foul
line.
ball, courtesy of attorney Glenn Harrington and his daughter Tevin.
Davis Wenzel, Braden Como, Seth Gray, 1, 2, 3 for the Harbor Hawks. Wenzel of Baylor, 2 for 2 today, single, double, and a run scored. the windup. Easton Lucas deals. That one lasered down the left field line, foul. 0-2. Even though it is early, both these teams vying for first place in the West. Gatemen one game behind these Harbor Hawks, but more importantly, that one misses outside, 1-2. Only 1 point behind them. 2 wins for a point, 0 for a loss, 1 for a tie. Both these teams with 10 wins. Gatemen have 2 more losses, but the Harbor Hawks have that pesky little tie. That one is lifted foul down the right field line, so that gives the Harbor Hawks 21 points, the Gatemen 20 points. So even though the Gatemen would move to 11-6 with a hypothetical win today, and the Harbor Hawks would move to 10-5, that would leave them tied as far as strictly games behind, but with that 11th win, that one misses outside as well, 2-2. With the Gatemen at 22 points and leave the Harbor Hawks at 21, so 1 point ahead for Wareham should they come out on top today and retake sole possession of first place. Katuah in third, they're 5 points back. Bourne in fourth at 7-7-1. That one is right down the pipe. Gun down is Davis Wenzel, second strikeout of the day for Mr. Lucas. That one brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 1 away in the 5th. Como the batter, he's 0 for 2. That one shot into shallow right field, coming in out at Idens. Routine for the UCLA Bruin. 2 up, 2 down very quickly. Easton Lucas efficient through his first couple of batters in the 5th inning. Seth Gray now the batter from Wright State. He's 0 for 2 as well. Batting .265, in a little bit of a slump after he got his season off to a torrid start. Hit safely in 4 of his first 5 games on the Cape. Registered a 3-for-4 line against Wareham in that 9-0 loss, as we mentioned. Went hitless in his next 4. 1 hit against the Gatemen last time in that 9-1 win, and then hitless in a 7-5 win over Brewster yesterday. Ahead in the count 1-0, and that one at the knees, though, evens it at 1-1.